And like Josh said, I'm gonna tell you something really simple that I do that made a huge difference. Like, I really do feel like for this topic, I do have the secret sauce. Do you guys want the secret sauce? Okay, cool. Because I was really desperate. I was, at this time last year, I was just really stuck and in my business, and I reached out to a friend and that I knew was great at this, and asked her, I was like SOS, help. And she was like, it's really, really simple. And I love hearing that because I told you guys yesterday, I'm like a lazy hard worker. Like, I want stuff that's really simple because I want to be able to do it all the time. I don't want to have to like go to level E to get these things done that I know are important for my business. And then this brought me more joy in inviting and stuff. So I'm gonna give you guys my secret sauce, my onboarding and recruiting systems. And if I have time, I will open it up for some questions. I love Q&A. I used to be a teacher. So first thing is, well, it's just the secret sauce. You attract what you talk about. So if you are talking about your business, you will attract people who want to work a business with you. That was what my friend told me. She was like, seriously, you just need to talk more about it, more about your business, everything, every little thing, just talk about it. And I'll give you examples because I love examples. But this is like so huge right now where we're at with social media, with stories. Stories make this so simple. I talk about everything. I talk about what my workday looks like. Not every day. I don't like get on there and say like I did XYZ, but I do sometimes. And then on other days, I can then, to fill in the gaps, I can say like just crushed a power hour. Then they already know what that looks like. And because I'm always growing my network, I always revisit it. I make it sexier than it really is. Like, I don't say I'm inviting, like that just sounds kind of weird. You know, it's like business jargon. I don't use business jargon on my stories, but I'll say things like, reached out to new girls because I just opened enrollment. Or for like follow-ups, I will say I followed up with people who had shown past interest in joining my virtual gym or my team because, girl, I believe in you. So I'm making it sound, it's the same thing, it's just like marketing, you know? Like, I just make it sound sexier than really I'm just like sitting on my phone sending messages. That doesn't sound super sexy, but to other people, when they see me doing these same things over and over and over, that is super sexy because I'm not doing anything crazy. I'm not doing things that they can't do. And so I'm essentially like breadcrumbing what I do as a business owner every day. I'm sort of running a sneak peek into my business on my social media every day. So then, so I do that in my stories, and I do occasionally a post, like a call to action, but to be honest, like those are not where I pull in people are not commenting like crazy, like sign me up, like, but it's important to throw that out there since some of my following sees my posts, some of them just see my stories and vice versa, so having just all of the different avenues. And then have something in your profile, I'm kind of talking about Instagram, that says something about you growing your team. I think a lot of people are missing that, and it doesn't need to say like, don't use your business jargon, but I say use something with your brand. So mine says, excuse me, and you can go look at mine if you want. My Instagram handle is @fit_teacher_Rachel. Or if you just search Rachel Baldwin, it should come up. But mine says teaching busy moms to get fit and make money. Because I do both, and I like to do both simultaneously. And what I'm kind of talking about with recruiting in this fashion is pulling people straight from my like cold market, like they're not already clients, to switch them over. I do that too, but I think most people are like pretty good with that. This is like all, you know, from they're signing up with me to work a business from the get-go. And so that bucket has been full for me for the last year. I recruit like, it's a lot for me, like I'd say like average 8 to 15 new working with the intention, I should say, to work a business coaches in my network. So I have something in there, so if they come to my profile, they aren't wondering, can I do what she does? Like if you go to like a blogger, it doesn't say anything about how they mentor other people to be professional YouTubers. So I would never go, there's a girl I went to high school with, she's a professional YouTuber. Her profile doesn't say anything about that, so I wouldn't assume that she's mentoring people to do what she does. And she doesn't talk about it, so I don't know, I've never asked her. But if it's not front and center, don't make it easy for people so they aren't wondering if you're doing that. It's hard for people to ask questions, so the more you can just have it out there, the more you can say that you're hiring, the more you can say things like, just got 2 new girls started on my team, just casual little things, so people aren't wondering if you're hiring. They know, because you tell them all the time. And I also have a place like a landing page. Again, this is kind of like with call to actions. It's not a great place, but at least it covers those people that don't want to direct message you. And I would have been one of these people that totally would have filled out like a Google form and been behind the scenes. So I just like cover all my bases. But honestly, stories is where it's at. So I promise I'd give you guys some more examples. So I said every time I enroll a new member on my team, I recruit somebody, I say that like casually, like sending my my welcome packet, my getting started packet, whatever. It's just an email, but you know, like make it sound sexier than it, you know. And the more you do, then my coaches think that that's what they're getting is a welcome packet. It just sounds like professional, you know. And when you say that, just dropping those little things will pull more people to you because they see that you're in growth mode. And I do the same thing when I sign up new clients because that's part of my job. That's something else I do. One of my favorite things to do to talk about my work schedule or whatever is I incorporate things with my brand. So I kind of told you, busy moms is like my thing, and that can be a hard thing to pull in because busy moms are busy, they don't have extra time. So I always make sure to go back to, I built my business on 1 to 2 hours a day because that's all I had. That made it worth it for me to get this moment with my son, like sharing it during the day because I'm home now with him. And when I wasn't home with him, I would share why I was doing it. Why was I working at night even when I didn't want to? I was sharing that vision out loud so that other people could see, they could start to dream with me. And I was kind of going somewhere else with that, but that happens to me a lot. Oh, and so one of my favorite things to do to share about my work, you know, I just find like a groove. And so I share, now that I'm home with him, I'm a busy mom, I work when he naps because then I want my intentional time with him. So I always will get on my stories and show the baby monitor. Put Leo down for a nap, time for me to work. And I might not get into it then, but then I like to take a mirror selfie or something and do check marks, the emoji check marks, and list off the things that I accomplished during that nap time hustle. So one, they can see that you can get a lot done in your child's nap time, and then I'm doing the same things over and over and over. Next slide. So then this is where the work comes in. Yes, I will start attracting people, and there are people that come to me and they will message me and say they want to join my team. And that's amazing when that happens, but there aren't enough of those people to get me to my goal. So the rest of it is up to me. And by the way, that people coming to me, that took like a year for, putting in the work now, see the payoff in like 6 months to a year, not 6 years, well. So this is where the work comes in for me, sending direct messages. And I like to do a casual invite, like I taught you guys yesterday, and say, can you see yourself doing what I do? And guess what people never ask me? They never say, what do I do? They already know, unless they're like brand new to following me and they haven't watched my stories. And then I'm like, well, they're not gonna sign up because they don't know, like, and trust me yet. So, in other times, if people do ask me, what do you do? That's a gut check for myself. Have I been talking about what I do on my stories? If I haven't, and then I'm like, okay, I need to talk more about it again. It's a good gut check. But it makes inviting very casual and easy because there is no secret, and they've already been wondering and thinking, I could do that. I remember seeing, even a year ago, like watching some people I looked up to in my company go on trips and do speaking things that I've wanted to do in my life that my like society life, that's what I call it, wouldn't have allowed me to do. So I did start, you start to see they're just regular people. She's a mom, she's busy, she left her job. What makes her different than me? People will start to wonder. So take the questions out of it, and then people, they don't know like the dirty details of the company and the ins and outs and how they get paid and stuff, but they know I get paid. And they know that I work every day. And they know I show up. And they know I'm on social media. So it's not a secret what I do. I also like to send video messages, especially if I already have a relationship with them on Instagram. You guys, this is kind of like something that not a lot of people do, and this made a huge difference for somebody who just signed up with me. I sent her a video, and it was kind of a follow-up, and I was kind of re-inviting her, following up, and she was like, the fact that you took the time to send that message, a video message, she's like, I'm just already more comfortable. Even though she sees my face on social media all the time, it's just that extra little touch. And I'll tell you guys a secret, I just recorded one and sent it out. Like, it wasn't, but it was an extra special touch. See, I told you I'm like a hardworking, lazy person. So I do those extra little things that make them feel special, and that they would get that extra piece of me. And I share things, I share all different types of reasons that people may want to join a business. Maybe it's for the community, maybe it's for the money, maybe it's for just something for them, maybe it's for to get in shape. I don't know. So I don't know what that thing is going to be for them, so I talk about it all. I talk about team calls, I talk about payday, I talk about the things that other people won't talk about. And I'll answer everybody's questions. I'll share income progressions. I'll share, what it feels like on a crappy day to show up anyways. And then don't wait for like an event. I see people fall into this all the time. Have a system in place that you can invite and recruit people at all times. So in my business, a lot of people do like sneak peeks, and then you find yourself waiting to invite people until you have a sneak peek coming up, and I can promise you, you're missing out on people. I invite to the opportunity every day. And so, because like I said, you never know when Saturday, October or whatever today is going to be the day that they're ready to sign up. You just never know. So have a different system in place. For me, if they say they're interested, I send a video of my story, and I send a video of like all the details of what goes into the opportunity, the business opportunity. And I guarantee you guys, we live in this society, with YouTube, there are infinite number of videos of, like, I guarantee you can find something. So, next slide. And then so have a system. And if you do have like a coach sneak peek coming, or a sneak peek just in general coming up, that's fine. Then you can use that again. I use those to my advantage to follow up with people. Like maybe they need just a little bit more. They need to hear from a couple other girls. And so then I can use that like, hey, I have another little, I just call it a sneak peek coming up to learn more. Would you want to check it out? So it's if not, I'm like, if not, no big deal, but here's a link to check it out. And some people just need that extra little reassurance. They need to hear it from somebody else. Next slide. And then don't wait, just sign them up. I know there are a lot of people in my network who only sign people up at the beginning of the month or end of the month, and whatever system you have that works for you, do that. But I just sign them up because then I can onboard them at their own pace. What if somebody came to you at what is today, like the 20th, and they're like, okay, Rachel, I'm ready, like I want to crush this, like let's go, and you were like, okay, well I'm gonna need you to wait another 11 days to sign up because that's when I onboard people. Like you're gonna lose them. They're gonna go find someone that will sign them up probably. So I just sign them up, and then I just have an onboarding system from there to get them covered, because I really feel like everybody works at their own pace. So once they say they're ready, just sign them up. They can ask all the questions later. You don't have to spend time saying like, do you have more questions? Because then they're like, well, should I have more questions? Like, just sign them up and they can figure out the rest later. And then I just make sure to deliver training resources within the first 24 hours of sign up. With a welcome email, I tell them these 3 things. It's normal to be overwhelmed. I'm like, congratulations, you're a regular human. I really tell people that. And then they're like, okay, they can accept that. And I'm like, now you just have to push past it. Like, it's normal to be overwhelmed. Remember when like Instagram came out and everyone was like, oh my God, I cannot learn a new social media platform. I'm so overwhelmed. And like now everybody rocks Instagram. So I tell them it's normal to be overwhelmed and it will not last forever if they work through it. I give them my cell phone number because they just signed up to be in my inner circle, and my friends have my cell phone number. People on my team are my friends, and that just reassures them from the beginning that they can get a hold of me. And I just started doing this in my welcome email. I lay out the goals that they need to reach to get them the success that they told me they want, so that it's not a secret. They're not wondering what they should be doing, where their focus should be in their first 30 days, 90 days, year. Then they know. By not telling them that it's simple, reaching these first couple of goals, by omission, I've just told them it's hard, even though I never said those words. But I didn't tell them it was simple. And the rest, honestly, is up to them. That you have to be their mentor, not their babysitter. Never count anybody in until they're in. It's like Melanie said yesterday, she's like, show me. Can't count them in till they're in. I don't count anybody out until they're out, but I don't count anybody in until they show me. So those are my recruiting and onboarding tips. Do I have a couple minutes to do questions? Sweet. You guys, I love questions. Sweet. I'm like, I never know how long stuff is going to take me because sometimes I get excited and talk really fast. Okay.
So you said you lay out the goals, and I know you're a Beachbody coach. So for you, are you going off of just basic milestones that a brand new coach needs to reach, or are you going off of, okay, you told me you want to do this, now I'm going to tell you what you need to do to get there?
Great question. So kind of both. So like I said, I'm a lazy hard worker, so I definitely have one email that I send out to everybody. And because if whether they want to pay for their products or leave their full-time job, their first couple of goals are gonna be the same. So I tell people the first rank they need to hit, and I give an analogy because I love analogies and people just connect with analogies. So I'll just share this with you. I'm like, the first rank is like putting the key in your ignition, or your business is like driving a car. The first rank is like putting the key in the ignition, and then the next rank, like the pivotal rank, like the leader in my business is diamond, is starting your car. Notice we have not gone anywhere, and I kind of told them that. And then signing up people every month is keeping gas in your tank. Please don't expect to go anywhere in your car on your trip if you're not signing people up every month. And I honestly just tell them to sign up people how they just signed up, because it just benefits everybody. So that's what I do.
Okay, so with your stories, I word vomit, and like I'm like wondering, like a 2-minute segment, is that too long? So like, do you keep it within 15 seconds? Do you ever go live? Because I've heard mixed things. If it's over a minute, go live, but then aren't people really watching live? Because now there's IGTV. So like, how do you snip it? Is it just in the 15 seconds? Or do you do like, maybe a 2-minute segment here? And, how do you do that?
That's a great question. So that's why I like to do the, like selfie or whatever, mirror selfie, and like check mark all the things that I like to do, or all the things I did during a work session. And then I might once in a while elaborate longer on what something looks like or something I'm really excited about. But my rule of thumb is for Instagram stories is to never talk longer than 3 video clips in a row. And if you have more to say, that's fine. I just try to not do and I kind of warn people like, hey, I'm gonna get on my soapbox here. And then they can like skip it if they want to, but your religious followers will watch them. But if you do 3 and then you need to say more about it, break it up with like a picture or a boomerang, and then you can continue. But I just do that once in a while. The other times I'll just focus on one of my vitals and say like, I'm really excited because I opened enrollment today, so I'm spending a lot of my work time reaching out to girls that I know would love my virtual gym. So I kind of just focus on one at a time, so I'm not having to go over and over and over. And I go live to give like some motivation and stuff, and like IGTV is stuff that I want saved forever that people like ask me about all the time.
I heard you mention hiring, like I'm now hiring, and I've done that several times in the past, and I always get, wait, is this not like an hourly job? And I'm just wondering, what do you say to overcome that?
So tell me more, people are asking.
I'm excited because I'm now hiring 10 more people to be in my mentorship program, and then they fill out the form, and I start chatting with them, and they're like, is this an actual job? Do I come in somewhere? And they're wanting to be on my payroll. Okay. And so I'm wondering how you turn that around to say, well, you're investing in yourself and you're now your own boss and things like that.
So I guess people don't really ask me that because they don't wonder what I do because I talk about it on my stories. Does that make sense? So it all goes back to that. I don't really get a lot of questions besides like the dirty details of things, which I'll told you, lazy hard worker, so I'll send them a video that takes the pressure off of me, because I want them I want to get them signed up to get results. We live in an instant gratification world, so the longer I dig around, that's why I talk about it so much on my stories, because it's basically doing all of the work for me, and then I can just enroll my friends on my team and tell them what to do to get results. Okay.
How do you duplicate that below you? So
Great question.
Your team to have the confidence to share the messy part of our business, to post on their stories, to invite that one. How do you do that?
Yeah. Yes. So she asked how I duplicate that in my business. How do I get my girls to talk about the tough stuff? How do I get them to share their journey and all that stuff? And I started putting that in my welcome email too. And I said, I want you to start sharing your journey, period. And I leave that up to them to interpretation from day one. And I tell them, what if I would have, because I attract a lot of moms, I'm like, what if I would have deleted my Instagram after I had my son and just showed up a year postpartum and I'm like, hey, check out my abs. You'd have been like, hashtag girl bye. Like no one would have signed up with me. A lot of these people that sign up with me is because of the journey, right? So I tell them that, and to be honest, remember you're their mentor, not their babysitter. So I don't really follow my new people on my team, and because it's gonna make me want to give them all sorts of feedback and stuff, and it's just a learning process. So they know that's the expectation to share on their stories. No, I don't expect them to do 20 stories a day, but I expect them to start sharing a little bit, and they'll just get more confident naturally as they go on. We just talk about that on, like other team calls and, lives in my team page and all of that stuff. So the more we talk about it, just the more comfortable that they get. And as far as the onboarding, a lot of them are like, honestly, way too scared to do coach sneak peeks. So I was like, okay, pressure's off, pressure's off. And I don't think me running a sneak peek for my coaches is successful because they have no idea who I am. Like they know who their prospective sponsor is, not me who's way up. So I started teaching them, like I got a third-party tool to give them all the details of the business opportunity. So then they have that, and I'm like, the rest is up to you. You need to make a 5-minute video of your story. Like if that's not simple, I don't know what is. I'm like, just record it and upload it to YouTube, like done. You have it forever. Like you can change it as your story changes, but now it's done. So they have a process that's very simple and very duplicable, and that was a big shift. Is if something's not duplicable in my business, I won't do it anymore because it has to be simple for my girls to implement it as well.
As you mentioned, in the world of instant gratification and also trying to separate family time or personal time from work time, how do you combat when people, like you're messaging people and they're immediately messaging you back and they seem interested right now, but they haven't been, like if you're following up and 2 weeks ago they weren't interested and right now they're like, I really want to sign up, and that this could be that moment where they're ready to sign up, where in a day or a week or a couple hours when you get back to them, that fear might have sunk in again. How do you combat that?
I respect my work hours, period. So if I think that about them, then they're gonna quit anyways. There is no one person that you need in your business, client or team member, that should make you sacrifice your time with your family. No one. Okay. You need not one client or team member. There's never going to be that one that makes that difference that is worth you sacrificing your time with your family. And the more stock you put into your business, the more business-like results you will get. If you treat your business like a hobby, you will get hobby-like results. But if you treat your business like a business, if you email like a doctor's office or call a doctor's office on Saturday, they're not gonna call you back until Monday. That's their work hours, you know that. And you're never like, oh my God, I really needed to make that appointment. Otherwise you like go to the ER or whatever, right? You know their business hours. So when people figure that out about me, that, hey, I'll get back to them in a day or so, and then people kind of have that mentality going into their business that they shouldn't be answering messages on the fly. I still have to teach it to all of my team members, but that makes my business a lot sexier because I have stock in my business. If I'm answering messages on the fly and trying to sign people up right when they want to sign up, then people think that they would have to do that if they started a business. And that's not sexy. It's not sexy to think like we all have that client, right, that asks like 75 questions a day, and then if you don't answer them right away, they like put those question marks. And you're like, right? So this happened to me like a couple of weeks ago, and she was a referral, so she actually doesn't know how I run my business. And it was like 30 minutes later, she put the question marks, and I was like, girlfriend, and it was a question that it did not need my immediate attention. And it was like, what weights should I use for lift 4 when I start it in 4 days? It's like, you do not need to know that right now, right? So I told her, like, girlfriend, I just do not answer my messages all the time. I don't check them. I'm with my family if I'm not working. So you're just gonna have to wait for a response. But if I were to answer all of her questions all the time, every time she asks me a question, one, I'm enabling these questions. And two, then if I'm like, hey, have you ever thought about doing what I do? She's gonna be like, hell no. I'm not trying to be on my phone all the time. Like, she's like, I wanna spend time with my family. I want a life of freedom. You're attached to your phone, you're a slave. That's not sexy. So put that out there to the universe and respect your business hours at all costs. Oh, okay, if they have that kind of fear that they need to sign up in that moment, they're going to quit anyways. Yeah, and you're not signing up to be anybody's babysitter. They will quit anyways. And you will be crushed when they quit. Like if you're signing people up right when they tell you they're ready, you're emotionally invested in them, and it will hurt when they quit. And that's not fair to you. There's time for one more question?
So if you're inviting your virtual gym and you're inviting the coaching every day, is there any process you go through to determine who is going to get which kind of invite?
Great question. So typically my invites look the same for that. And I just say, can you see yourself doing what I do? And they can take it either way, because they see me working out and they see me running a business. And they're gonna take it the way that they've envisioned themselves doing what you do. So some people really think I'm inviting them to the virtual gym, even though looking at their profile, I'd love for them to be a member on my team, but they took it as joining my virtual gym, and that's fine. Other people take it as, I'm asking them to join my team, and they give me an objection, I don't have time, blah, blah, blah. And I can combat that objection then, but then I can always default back to a client. Well, like, that's cool, I get, blah, blah, blah. I definitely battle objections. Then I'm like, why don't you join my virtual gym? And then we can start that conversation. But so my invites look very much the same. I always use that, like, do what I do, because I do both. And they know that, and then they can take it the way they want it. And if they generically say yes, I say something like, are you interested in working on you in my virtual gym, or are you interested in influencing others too? And I like capitalize the two, so they know they get to still be in both worlds. And then most people say they'd love to influence people, they just don't know how, and I'm like, I got you. Well, thank you guys for having me, and let me talk about recruiting. This is such a full circle moment for me. Like I said, a year ago, I would have killed to recruit people like me. I was just taking warm bodies. Now I feel like I can choose people that, and people fall through the cracks, but like I definitely have less people who I'm like, man, you are not fit for me. I have people, these girls on my team are like my best friends, and I would have given anything for them at this time last year. And not putting in the work then, and just changing that one little thing. You can take, it's so simple. Just talk about what you're doing on your stories. Talk about that you're here learning how to run your business more efficiently. Talk about getting on that team call. Talk about going to the coffee shop to get some uninterrupted work done. Talk about putting on personal development while you're doing laundry. Talk about the hard things. Talk about the fact that you're inviting. Talk about the follow-ups so that people don't have questions. Because the more you talk to people, the more they'll just doubt themselves. If you can cut all of that out and just sign people up, what if you could, have a prospect come to you, or you invited them and you could sign them up in 4 days with like 3 back and forth messages? Wouldn't that be great? Right? You don't have to form with anybody or like get to know them. They already know you. Once you sign them up, then you're gonna get to know them. That's a really good feeling. And that you will love them because they will be your people. They've already envisioned whether you're doing what you do. So that's what I have for you guys.